Tonight on Grady Newsource, we are live at the Athens-Clarke County Elections Office to find out why several hundred voters were mailed absentee ballots twice. Next, we will take you to a vulture fest where people from Athens learned why these birds are so important to our ecosystem. And finally, we will introduce you to a friendly skeleton who has become a year-round celebrity, not just on Halloween. All that and more coming up on Grady Newsource.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College at the University of Georgia, this is Grady Newsource.
Good evening, I'm Tori Newman and this is Grady Newsource. With just 8 days until the election, the Athens-Clarke County Elections Department is on alert after a clerical issue was found. Grady Newsource reporter Savannah Hernandez is live at the Elections Department with more on how officials are addressing this. Savannah?
That's right, Tori. I spoke with the Elections Department earlier today after they sent over 700 voters a second absentee ballot. Here's what they had to say.
Hundreds of Athens-Clarke County voters got a surprise in their mailboxes, a second absentee ballot. Charlotte Sosby, director of the Elections Department, says a clerical error caused the mix-up.
Then we started to get more phone calls. And so it prompted me to do a little more research, and that's what I discovered.
Sosby discovered some absentee ballots requested on October 8th were processed again on the 9th after being uploaded twice. This caused about 725 voters to be listed again in the statewide Georgia Registered Voter Information System, JARVIS. Sosby says that a vote will never count twice because absentee and in-person ballots are linked to individual voters through state identification. Even if a voter receives an extra ballot, safeguards in the state and local systems ensure only one vote is counted.
If that voter shows up again with another absentee ballot, which would be the second absentee ballot that was issued, then the system wouldn't allow us to accept it. So that ballot's marked canceled.
Dr. Trey Hood, a UGA professor and expert in election administration, says these kinds of errors, while uncommon, can have impact on voter confidence.
This is obviously an accidental mistake that occurred. You know, sometimes, especially more recently in time, we see some conspiracy theory just appear, you know, almost instantaneously, and then it gets spread, especially through social media, very quickly. I think Clarke County did what they were supposed to do, and that is being transparent.
The department has directly contacted affected voters through mail, email, phone, and social media to inform them about the error and provide guidance on handling the extra ballot. Also, voters can track their absentee ballot status on Georgia's My Voter Page website. To prevent this from happening again, the Elections Department has implemented additional procedures. Now they will create a master list of issue dates to process and filter out duplicate names. The department hopes these efforts reassure voters that every ballot is safe, secure, and counted only once.
I think it's important that our voters, our community understands the process so that they know for certain that their vote is secure and that we are running a tight ship.
So Savannah, what should voters do if they received a second ballot?
Well, if voters do receive an extra ballot, Sosby says that you can either, 1, destroy it, or 2, you can drop it off here at Washington Street at the Elections Department. And please remember, if you decide or attempt to try to vote twice, that is considered a felony. That's all for me, but back to you, Tori.
Thanks, Savannah. The cost of living is one of the biggest issues on voters' minds today. There's a state homestead tax exemption on ballots this year, but local government officials are concerned about what this would do to local funding. Grady Newsource reporter Lizzie Rice tells us more.
Amendment on the ballot in Georgia this election, if passed, would lower people's property taxes. House Bill 581 limits increases in property taxes year to year. Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones says the bill aims to address long-standing issues with local property taxes. Here in Madison County, Georgia, there are mixed reactions to the amendment. The local government opposes the bill while many voters support it.
Pay property tax, and it's ridiculous how much I'm having to pay. So, yeah, less taxes, the better off, in my opinion, we all are.
This puts pressure on people like Todd Higdon, the Madison County Commissioner Chairman.
I think voters are very misinformed on House Bill 581 as to what the true impact of it is.
But what the voters don't know is that
this county government is going to lose about $1.8 million.
House Bill 581, if it is passed, will force Higdon to either go against the voters and opt out of the amendment or increase other taxes in Madison County.
and I'm cut about as low as I can potentially go now. I don't think I'll be able to cut in 2025, and if this passes, most definitely there's going to be an increase.
With 1 week left to go until Election Day, the decision for local taxes is ultimately in the hands of the voters. Lizzie Rice, Grady Newsource.
With just days left, both the Trump and Harris campaigns are spending their final days in battleground states. Republican candidate Donald Trump will be holding 2 events in Atlanta today. He spoke at the inaugural National Faith Summit just hours ago and held his final rally in the state of Georgia at 6 p.m. tonight on Georgia Tech's campus. Democratic vice presidential candidate Tim Walz will also be stopping by both Savannah and Columbus tomorrow for early vote rallies. We'll have more on the election later in the show. Halloween is about fun, but there are also some serious risks for children. Grady Newsource reporter Jackson Rowland has more on how to stay safe during this upcoming holiday.
Children are excited to see Halloween decorations and trick-or-treat through neighborhoods for candy. But a study from the Journal of the American Medical Association shows that children 4 to 8 years old are 10 times more likely to be at risk for a fatal accident on Halloween.
Halloween, walking in the roadways, along the side of the roadways, you're going to have an increase in potential for a deadly or horrific accident.
Captain Patton says the possible dangers of the holiday means that parents should be responsible and prepared.
If we were in areas or neighborhoods that we weren't familiar with, we'd be more cautious, but I think because we go in our own neighborhood and we know the people, we keep a close eye on them, we're with them the whole time. That's kind of how we address some of the concerns that we would otherwise have.
The National Safety Council recommends avoiding dark costumes, staying in well-lit areas, and carrying glow sticks or flashlights for safety. Events like trunk or treats are also fun alternatives, but take it from a father of 3.
Or do the trunk or treat thing that's contained in a parking lot, so there aren't cars driving around. There's a lot of people, but not cars driving around. So we do think about that.
With the right steps towards safety, parents and kids can still enjoy a fun and spooky holiday. For Grady Newsource, I'm Jackson Rowland.
The 11th annual Vulture Fest took place on Saturday here in Athens. Grady Newsource reporter Nigel Whittington has more on how the event aimed to shift perspectives on nature's recyclers.
Have some great adaptations that make them gross but cool.
For 11 years, the Athens-Clarke County Solid Waste Department has hosted its annual Vulture Fest with the goal of changing the bird's perception from gross to cool.
If you get too close to vultures, they get scared, they will projectile vomit on you. I know, yum!
While the vultures aren't seen as cute and cuddly creatures, the event aims to shift the perception of the scavengers, showcasing their importance to the environment while attracting many visitors, including Peter Luce.
A lot of people wouldn't think the vulture is something we should raise on high, but they actually are. They are a key species in our entire system. If we did not have them, there would never be enough road crews to clean up all the roadkill that's out there.
Luce is a local Athens artist who has a unique connection to the birds, with most of his artwork being centered around the winged animals. But if his art couldn't convince you about how much he cares for them, then his vehicle surely will.
And a couple festivals ago, What the Fox Said here in Athens, I gave Sharpie markers out and let the kids draw birds on it. And one of the little kids put the words bird bus, so now I drive the bird bus. It came back from a festival in Tuscaloosa. I think there are several thousand birds on there now by individual people.
The event featured vulture-themed activities as well as a live bird show, showing off not just the vulture, but other birds of prey as well, and showcased not only the importance of the scavenger, but how the department acts in a similar way to keep Athens clean.
What I love about this is that it shows that every animal has a purpose and has a function in the ecosystem, and with our carrion species, they help clean up everything.
While the vultures aren't the most glamorous creatures, just like the work done by those in the landfill here in Athens, they are both valuable to keeping our environment clean. Nigel Whittington, Grady Newsource.
After the break, Grady Newsource reporter Sarah Sims will join us live from the University of Georgia's Tate Student Center, a new polling location where students just wrapped up early voting for the day.
During high school, I hung with the wrong crowd and I never graduated.
I helped Santiago in many different ways, like all fathers do, because he always wanted to go to college.
I felt a little embarrassed to come back to school, but eventually once I came here, I knew that it's for a bigger goal.
He was very dedicated, hardworking. He connected with his teachers. He connected with other students. That was one of the key reasons why he was able to keep forging ahead.
It was amazing to see him graduate. This was one thing that meant so much to him, and of course, it meant so much to us too.
With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed. That support is everything.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far.
A place that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna.
It only takes a spark to make a fire start.
The Dutch.
Thank you.
Study, please.
I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
Returning now to our top story, the upcoming election. Georgia has been shattering early voting records. Grady Newsource reporter Sarah Sims now joins us live at the Tate Student Center, where a new polling station opened today with a big turnout from Gen Z voters. Sarah, how did voting go today?
That's right, Tori. I am standing here in Tate Student Center. When I was here earlier, the lines were even out the doors to come here today. There are a few people still in there casting their ballots now, and I got the chance to talk with voters here today and political experts about really what this Gen Z generation vote is going to mean for the swing state of Georgia. Let's take a listen.
New voter!
Tate Student Center at the University of Georgia is hosting early voting from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. today until Wednesday. Some students lined up in Tate for their very first time.
I feel very great. I feel very empowered. I feel like I did my civic duty as a U.S. citizen.
Tate is just one of the 6 early voting places in Athens. 2 programs at UGA who work with student engagement paired up with the Athens Board of Elections to make this possible.
I think it makes it just a lot easier, a lot simpler. You're not stressing about when you have to go, where you have to go, how long is it going to take.
Oh my God, it's quite literally like the most important thing that we could be doing right now. So far, early and absentee voters from ages 18 through 29 make up 11.5% of the total voting turnout.
And your baseline is if Gen Z voters, who are a large potential population of voters, if they actually turned out and voted in a majority towards like one candidate, they would be, the reason they won.
If Gen Z fully turns out on Election Day is still yet to be seen, but early voting. And so I am standing here with Laura McCullough, who just cast her ballot just a little bit ago. And I just want to talk to you kind of about the important issues that brought you out here today. So what are some of those issues that really meant the most to you to make sure you came out here and cast your ballot today that you want to see fixed?
So I think that Kamala really encapsulates like my upbringing. So with women's rights, I really do think that she will be there to provide like proper health care for women, and like with Roe v. Wade. And then also I want to go into like pharmaceutical sciences, so I think she'll also really benefit the pharmaceutical industry and like health sciences in general, as well as my parents also being immigrants. I think it's also very important that she cares with how families are like separated or like border control and things of that nature.
And so why do you think some of those broader issues are so important to young voters like yourself?
I think that we also all share like similar issues. I think that's the main thing, like we find commonality and the future of the nation, and I think those are like, primary goals that we want to see be implemented.
Well, thanks for coming out and talking with me today. I really appreciate hearing your insights, and I think that's about all we have for you today in Tate Student Center, but back to you, Tori.
Sarah, now we turn to Jackson County, where residents came together for their annual Jeep ride on Saturday. Grady Newsource reporter Colin Miller has more on the event and its cause.
Over 40 Jeep drivers take off from Jackson County in the Sheriff Department's annual fundraiser Jeep Ride. The 80-mile drive ends at a campground on the Tallulah River with lunch and raffles, with the money raised going to Georgia Sheriff's Youth Homes. Sheriff Janice Mangum retires in December, and this cause has always been special to her.
I'll continue to pour into them after I retire because they need us. They need sheriffs to love on them, so fundraisers are important.
Georgia Sheriff's Youth Homes provide homes and care for abandoned children. They currently have 34 children in care across 5 campuses in the state.
We're not a jail, we're not a boot camp, we're not a disciplinary type facility. Our children are here because they've been mistreated, neglected, and abused in some way, not through anything they've done wrong.
Last year, almost 350,000 children were in foster care in the U.S., with over 11,000 of them in Georgia, according to the National Count of Foster Homes. This year's Jeep Ride raised close to $14,000 for that cause, which is almost $1,500 more than last year's event.
Take care of our children, make sure they have the resources that they need, clothing, school supplies, food, all those sorts of things. Those monies go towards that to make sure we're able to provide the type of home for our children that they deserve.
Although this year's event was a farewell for Mangum, she hopes that the tradition continues long after she retires. Colin Miller, Grady Newsource.
Coming up, Grady Newsource weather reporter Sydney Rainwater will give us the forecast and some insight on the changing leaves this season.
Cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
My Shiro doesn't always wear a cape, but she always has time for a hug, a smile, for going the extra mile. My Shiro stretches every dollar, puts in long hours, puts others first. But now it's your time, Mom. When you're ready to retire, we want you to be able to enjoy it. It's time to start saving now. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Hey everyone, I'm Sydney Rainwater here to give you this week's forecast. Now, it's going to be super sunny throughout this week. We're going to start off with highs in the 70s today and tomorrow, lows across the 50s. Then we're going to bump up to highs in 80 and 81 later on in the week. Now, Thursday is Halloween. Halloween is one of my favorite holidays. The day is going to be pretty hot, but as the sun sets, it's going to get cooler. So you may want to bring a light jacket for if you've got little ones trick-or-treating Thursday night. So let me tell y'all though, we are in a true Georgia fall with hot afternoons and chilly mornings and nights. I'm not a huge fan of the cold, but on the bright side, those cold nights mean leaves are finally changing around here. You can expect to see max fall foliage for the season this week and next. It's a little bit earlier than normal because we haven't had much rain lately, so leaves are dropping quicker. Take a look.
Fall colors are back in Northeast Georgia. But what does that mean scientifically? It's a chemical reaction that happens when the nights start to get cold, according to Dr. Merkel. He says the leaves realize that
the season's over, and so their pigments start breaking down, their chlorophyll goes,
and they at least will have a short chance to turn color before they completely senesce, they die off and fall off.
Dr. Merkel says Hurricane Helene gave North Georgia just enough rain that the leaves will hang on for a little bit. The lack of rain since the hurricane might mean the leaves will fall more quickly than normal, but he assures us
it's going to be great. And I always say it's going to be great.
There you go. So if you're needing a mountain getaway, some family photos taken, or want to go watch some live sports, now is the perfect time. After the break, Grady Newsource reporter Christian Andrade will recap the weekend's games for us.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
You're home before sunrise, on top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
What's up, guys? I'm your sports anchor, Christian Andrade, and even though Georgia football had a bye week, we had plenty of football action in Athens under the Friday night lights. The Raven County Wildcats faced the undefeated Athens Academy Spartans for Athens Academy Senior Night. Here's a recap of the game. The Wildcats kicked off the night here at Slaughter Field. Spartan quarterback Hampton Johnson out the gates with a big shot down the field, and it's caught by KJ Whitehead. 62-yard bomb to the end zone. Later in the quarter, Lake Evans responds with a touchdown run for the Wildcats. But Johnson gets the ball right back and slings it down the field. Touchdown pass complete to Keon Standifer. Second quarter now, Reed Giles with a big game for the Wildcats. On the next play, he punched it in for a touchdown in a tie ball game at 14 apiece. Back to Johnson for a little bit of play action. He scrambles around in the backfield, throws it up, and finds Standifer in the end zone again, 21-14 Spartans. Ty Truelove doing some scrambling now for the Wildcats, and he finds Standifer too. What a game for the star sophomore playing both ways. Wildcats get the ball right back though, driving all the way down the field with another touchdown run to Giles to tie the game up in the fourth quarter. But no worries for the Spartans. They have Keon Standifer. Game-winning touchdown bomb making the Spartans region champs heading into the playoffs in 2 weeks.
We're just excited to be here. We're blessed. You know, we tell them all the time, don't ever be unappreciative for winning. Winning's hard, especially in the state of Georgia, and we're proud of it.
Man, what a night for Keon Standifer. 170 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Right now, the sophomore leads the single-A division in receiving yards and is third in the entire state of Georgia. The Spartans have 2 weeks to prepare for the first round of playoffs. After the break, we'll tell you about those huge skeletons you might have been seeing in your neighbor's front yard.
I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I think I finally found.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far. A place that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna.
It only takes a spark to make a fire start.
Thank you.
Study, please.
I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
Your home before sunrise. On top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Calling all artists, Athens-Clarke County is now accepting applications to create a sculpture at Lindentown Lane. The chosen artist would have 8 weeks to complete the work. The Athens-Clarke County government is looking for a piece that serves as a visual icon of the injustice that occurred at the site of Lindentown in the name of urban renewal. Anyone interested can apply on the Athens-Clarke County government website by December 6th. It's almost Halloween, and many neighborhoods are lit up with eerie decorations that will disappear at the end of October. For one homeowner in Oconee County, a 12-foot skeleton is a permanent exhibit in her yard. Grady Newsource reporter Juliana Russ has more.
Halloween decorations tend to vanish after the season wraps up, but one skeleton has found a permanent home in Amanda Hodges' front yard. Skelliot, as he is lovingly named, is not your average spooky decoration. He's a towering 12-foot giant, and he's here to stay.
So my wife used to work for Home Depot Corporate, and when they came out with the 12-foot skeleton, I really wanted it. She called and said, there's one at Home Depot in Athens. If you want it, go get it. And so I did.
Almost a year later, the colossal skeleton has become a local celebrity.
What's really fun is when the kids drive by after school or before school and their parents have like the sunroof open and their like little heads are sticking out looking at all the decorations. We've had a lot of people like park in the driveway and like stand on the sidewalk and take pictures.
Month after month, Skelliot gets a new look, blending in with each season's festivities.
I have 5 kids. They enjoy seeing all that different outfits and decorations that surround the skeleton.
Occasionally, he even dresses up for a cause.
Mental Health Matters was one of my favorite ones. Pride Month is another one. If I can support, mental health matters and stuff like that, then I'm gonna do it.
While most Halloween decorations are headed back to storage soon,
Skelliot will stay out year-round.
In Oconee County, for Grady Newsource, I'm Juliana Russ.
That's all for tonight. My name is Tori Newman, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Have a great night.
During high school, I hung with the wrong crowd and I never graduated.
I helped Santiago in many different ways, like all fathers do, because he always wanted to go to college.
I felt a little embarrassed to come back to school, but eventually, once I came here, I knew that it's for a bigger goal.
He was very dedicated, hardworking. He connected with his teachers. He connected with other students. That was one of the key reasons why he was able to keep forging ahead.
It was amazing to see him graduate. This was one thing that meant so much to him, and of course, it meant so much to us too.
With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed. That support is everything.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
I think I finally found.
Hey, How you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Mason.
Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far.
A place that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna.
It only takes a spark to make a fire start.
Thank you.
Study, please.
I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
All right, guys. Hey, guys. We're on live air. All right. So we successfully tested the feedback. Anchor could hear the live reporter in the field. We did Q&A, not one, but two, and it worked. I think this was one of the smoothest shows we've done. And yeah. And Kira, kudos to you and your team. Yeah. Is there anything you'd like to share with us?
My only thing is, I just want to give a shout out. We had a brand new technical.
Let's get you a mic.
I just want to give them a shout out. We had a brand new technical director today, and brand new audio, brand new graphics, and all of them did awesome. Like Professor V said, this is one of the cleanest shows we've had. So shout out to them. We love having new volunteers, and they killed it. So.
And we feel very fortunate to have all of you. Thank you. Thank you. So very nicely done, Ryan. It was touch and go. And why don't you share some of your experiences? Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, like Professor B said, it was a lot of light, heavy today. But we ended up going 30 seconds over, which was not bad. I guess my piece of advice is that I got to know the content last night, which was nice. You guys told me that, which is very helpful. The one thing I didn't do last night that I wish I did last night was having more readers prepped. Tori was an absolute rock star. We repurposed a lot of her information from her Grady Daily, with really relevant, timely stuff. She wrote literally 80% of our readers, so thank you, Tori. Yeah, shout out Tori. So yeah, I guess my piece of advice is just have, in addition to getting to know the content the night before, have some readers prepped the night before, and then just always kind of keeping in the loop with MMJs about timing and stuff, because someone will be like, oh, I'm heavy, and some people I'm like, I'm light, I'm heavy, I'm light, I'm light. So just kind of keeping that updated throughout the day, because the whole timing thing is like a game. But you guys were absolutely helpful. I'm very lucky that I did this later in the semester, because I asked 1,000,003 questions, and you guys were all super helpful, and I always learn a lot from you guys, so I'm very grateful, so thank you.
Very well done, and that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to ask and find out how things are. Very well done for your debut. Yeah. And so Riley, would you like to share how we did on digital, since we're an integrated newsroom?
We did great on digital. I got like 5 posts out, and they're all really cool. Y'all should like them, because they're doing weak on that aspect, which is ridiculous. But yeah, I pieced up some McCollins footage. It was cool. Nice soundbite on there. It was cool. And I did it by myself.
Excellent job. Excellent job. I want to say we have so much talent here in this newsroom. It's not even funny, all of you. But kudos to our anchor, Tori. This is her first time anchoring news. She had the right tone. She switched from pace and tone, from story to story. Everything she did kept it interesting, kept it going and flowing, and there was never any monotony from one story to the other. There was a smile, there was a pleasant, approachable person there who was genuine and who was really giving us a nice experience, yet you knew your stuff and you were serious when you had to be serious. And you had a lot of good content also to work with. Very good chemistry with Savannah in the field. Savannah, excellent job. That was not an easy story to pull off, and you did a great job. I love the Q&A. How did it feel for the two of you? This is the first time. Share with us a little bit of your experience with the Q&A. And with the people watching us, so that's why we need.
For me, the Q&A was good. I realized that obviously to hear her, I have to have my volume up, but when I'm talking, the volume is still up, so I'm hearing myself like delayed in my ear. So I think that was like kind of
distracting,
difficult, but I think it went fine for me, and like people should definitely try to do that. I thought it was something cool and new for the show, so not too difficult, just like a regular live, but with a question.
So all the time you were hearing yourself back throughout.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be happening. Let me talk to
Well,
Andrew.
I think it's because I had the program audio up, so I could hear like her and
But you're supposed to, yeah.
and the package.
Yeah. Let's
So-
see. Andrew, she was hearing mixed minus all the time. She was hearing herself back.
This is a little correct for next time.
Okay. So you are, I mean, you're even more impressive. That is so distracting to keep hearing yourself back. My goodness, you guys, amazing talents here.
Yeah, but Tori
that
was
is not
great.
supposed to happen.
But yeah, Tori was great, and I could hear her. Everything was great. So yeah.
I think it went well. I'm glad we practiced before. I think that definitely helped. And then I knew she was going to do a great job, so that made me feel better. And I will say, like, coming out of it, I hesitated for a second because I was kind of waiting for a cue. But I would say for any people who do this next time, just be really locked in to kind of the program and not necessarily the prompter either, because it's like when they stop talking, like, you go. And that would also help it be more conversational.
One thing I'd add in the end with the skeleton story, you could have sort of ad-libbed something about the skeleton, or, you know, when you have such a story, you can say something cute or, you know, react to it in a human way. So that's the only thing I would add for the next time you do news, to kind of think about how you can react to something as fun as Juliana's star skeleton. Yeah. Yeah, and Nigel, your story came together very well with the vultures. That the artist made it. I mean, the humans, they make the story. You want to grab the? Yeah, lots of good B-roll and.
Yeah, no, it was fun. It was cool to not have to shoot everything, just go straight to the event and just find my sources, which I feel like I'm late to the party with doing that. But it was really fun. Everybody was really helpful, except the time that I didn't ask the last name of my wonderful people. So make sure you get the first and last name of everybody. But no, it was fun. It was cool. A lot of good shots, and I shot it all in like an hour and a half. It didn't take long at all.
Yeah, I always ask them at the beginning, before you start any interview, could you please say your name, and then you have it, you know, in the beginning of the interview, so you don't have struggle after that. But preparation pays off. Yeah, you have to do the interviews ahead of time and not rely on doing both sides or however many. You were not as stressed this time. You had time to think about things and really, you know, do some good B-roll shots and write to them and spend some time, a little bit of time with me, so that we could brainstorm. And I really enjoyed working with you today, and we had more time. And I had more time with quite a few of you because you sent me your scripts earlier on. And so I'm very happy. Lizzie, yours came together very well also. That wasn't an easy story. And those are tough stories, very complicated. But I thought it came together very well, and I'm really proud of you guys. Yeah, but it takes a lot of, you know, work ahead of time. Otherwise it doesn't happen. So nicely done today. Want to go back to the talent. You ad-libbed for the first time. Tell us how it was. She decided to ad-lib the weather. And you couldn't tell.
Well, look, I didn't feel great about that. I felt like I just got randomly flustered and like was tripping over my words the whole time. But so I'm not a huge fan of ad-libbing.
Just a little flip here and there, but that's.
Thanks. But yeah, it's my second time doing weather, so I felt okay about like the movement and everything. But yeah, ad-libbing is hard. So y'all who do lives all the time, like props to you, because I don't want to I don't want to make a habit of that, even though I know I should.
But you know, nothing can scare you now. You know, what it takes. And did you practice? You practiced a little bit. That's, we were hearing from Tori and Savannah, practice makes perfect. Well, almost, right? But because live air is live air. I mean, you're going to have mixed minus in your ear. And so, yeah, all of you just did amazing talent. And Christian
to
really
be followed by
loved,
Christian too.
It was a very different sports, but it added so much, and it's what we were hearing from the professionals who were visiting us. They want, they want stories about real people.
Yeah, I sort of took that into account a little bit, and then I was also sort of thinking, because at my internship this past summer, I covered a scrimmage for WMAZ, like I did a football Friday night thing, and I really liked how that turned out, so I was like, and also, I just felt like a high school, I could just stroll up on it and record, but like college stuff, I was like, I don't know how that's going to work. We had a college volleyball and college softball, but I was like, I'm going to just pop up to a high school and see if I can.
And those things don't get covered as much as, so that's the value that you guys bring, the hyper-local stuff. I think.
Over the course of the next few weeks, I mean, they're about to go into playoffs. I mean, high school football would be kind of the way to go.
Yeah. And it will help your sports reel, if you want one. Yeah, so very nicely done. Lots of talent. Really, really happy and proud of you. Colin, yours came together also very well. And Sarah, very nicely done. I love the diversity of your sources. That was very well chosen. Although we we had a Harris voter and she made it clear. So we had a... I grabbed her 5 minutes, like she was walking around 5 minutes before the show. But she wanted to say who she voted for. You didn't ask her. And so there was no way to balance her out.
When she said that,
we went for it. I mean, you get surprises, but very well done. Very nicely done. The mini package, again, the diversity of voices that you were able to include. Just a political scientist, it was a little scratchy, that audio, but that's as good as you could. And you want quick turn today, and you literally turned the quick turn with many different sources. So I'm really proud of you as well. Came together very well. Very nice, pleasant presentation, and all of you very genuine, very pleasant. You didn't seem to be nervous or anything. You were really enjoying kind of inviting us into Tate Center and really telling us what had happened today. I saw those long lines earlier, and very naturally done, very, very nicely done. So, and Juliana, that skeleton, can't go wrong with that one, yeah. So really, really nicely done. Really proud of you guys. And it made me think, when I was thinking about reminding you for your reels, I kind of felt sad because I realized, I know you guys are not sad because you won't be tortured anymore, but I was just like, I can't believe it's almost over. And I haven't tortured you guys enough, have I? But really, So, but it kind of, maybe a little sad. Anyway, you guys have been a great group of people and very, very talented, and can't wait to see where you guys end up. Anybody wants to share anything from today? Fooled me?
So when I was going for the quick turn, especially after we found out that the early voting had opened back in Tate today, I was like, let me jump on this, because like my target thing was just like really not panning out the way I thought it was going to. But when I went, my plan was to like talk to just someone who like was facilitating the event. I was going to try to get voters like on their way out, but a lot of times like the students like would want to talk to you. They were already wondering what you were doing there with the camera anyways. Everyone just always looks at you, so it's better just to like approach them like confidently. Don't like look kind of scared, because they're not going to want to talk to you. But when I was trying to go and talk to someone who even like facilitated the event, even like a poll worker, anything like that, like no one would talk to me like that. So that was really hard when I was trying to kind of talk about how ELS and SGA and the poll workers were all like working together. So I did not have like the context really from that story. So I had to like do a lot of like research ahead of time and like emailed a lot of people today like to find a lot of that. But don't be super stressed out when you're doing it. You're gonna eventually get it done. Cause like Professor V gave me like my feedback on my script at like 3 o'clock, and like I put my package
And I turned
in
it
by 4.
upside down.
Yeah, and then like I put my
Literally
package in
upside
by
down.
4, so
Nigel knows that as well.
yeah. So it was fun though. I'm just really happy to be done with that.
Yeah. Give yourselves a big hand. Yeah. Yeah. And if anybody else has anything to say, or else I'll let you go early.
I have a quick question. Sorry, not to hold everyone.
You have the best questions, but let's get a. Don't throw it.
Okay, this is kind of just more related to the class, but I hate hearing my voice bounce back. For reels, I know that you want that reel by November 15th,
yeah.
I'm planning on putting like the content I have in there by November 15th, but can it be like a tentative reel? Because like I still know for myself personally, like I want to go out and film like a million more stand-ups, because I like feel like I didn't get enough this semester. So is like that okay if I just kind of give you what I have so far, and like, because I don't have a ton of on-camera.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Well, you can't put like fake stand-ups going. You have to put stuff that's been aired, or has our logo and everything. But it's you just can't do stand-ups just for they want to see work you've actually done.
Okay.
So in the last weeks, try to film some more stand-ups.
Okay, because when I was talking to the recruiters from Gray last week, they were saying, like, even just go out to, like, okay, for example, like basketball season started, going out to a basketball game with, like, a mic and talking to, like, going out and being like, oh, I'm standing outside the Georgia, like, obviously I'm not going to be able to, I don't know, like, they seem to be okay with that, and they kind of encourage that, honestly.
Okay. Then go ahead and do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but, like, is it okay for the time being for our reel to just, because I don't feel like I have a ton of on-camera stuff to just.
Well, put your best stuff there.
Okay.
And I'll look at it and see how you've arranged it, and if there's something, I can advise you that something is not quite, maybe you thought it was great, but maybe I kind of think it's not that great. And maybe I will have an idea of things you've done on air that I could suggest you put. Maybe I could have some idea.
Okay.
That's why I want your best stuff, your absolute best stuff there. Make it short, because you see how many seconds did they say they look at?
Like 9.
9 seconds.
Yeah.
So make the first 9 seconds really count. And then 2 packages, make them count interesting, different kind, that show off a different kind of ability that you have to cover range, like the election stuff. Add that, because that's really important.
Yeah, I think it's more so I'm just concerned about like the quantity of stuff, because I feel like I don't have as much as I want to have.
Yeah, well, whatever you think you're gonna keep in that reel, put it in there, and maybe put placeholders or something, so that I can see and help you in any way, and we can just chat, and anything that I can help you in your career or something. It's just saying goodbye, meeting up. I want to see your reflections, and just talk about your future, help you out a little bit with the reel.
Okay. And this is kind of more, I think everyone will kind of benefit from this, but the last 2 dates of class is like the 11th and the 13th of November, and I don't think most of us have roles assigned. When are we going to have those roles assigned?
The Sojo show you're talking about, and the final show.
Oh, so 11th is the Sojo show, and 13th is the random show.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I want you guys to do what you want to do. It's your show. It's your farewell. They're students who usually do a news show, and at the end they have a blooper, and you could do that.
that's kind of up to us to decide our
Yeah.
roles of the last two shows?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or it could be a totally reflection show, like the one I showed you from a previous class, where they all reflected on the most impactful, unusual stories they covered and their beat, things that they learned, what it takes to produce a package, what you learned, what you didn't expect. It could be a reflection show, or it could be a news show with a blooper at the end, or a reflection show with a blooper at the end. I haven't designated a producer. I have, that's right. Elizabeth is going to be producing, and Juliana is doing our Sojo show. So I will let the producers work with you guys. I don't want to tell you what to do. Usually there's no sports and weather. If it's not a news show, if it's a reflection show, you could have somebody reminiscing about their sports or whatever they learned, and weather. It's up to you.
Okay, so the last two shows are like kind of up to us.
Yeah, and the Soja is up to Juliana. She's the boss.
Okay.
She's gonna, we have this dream that we're gonna have such a great solutions show. We're gonna impress, Michael Davis is gonna critique it, and we're gonna put it in a story tracker, and it's gonna be accepted to be there with, professional stuff. But again, it has to be done well. Each solution story has to have benefits, limitations, just the full story, beneficiaries, a real human story showing how the solution works from start to finish in order for the content to qualify for that. So I've given feedback to Savannah so far. Jules, I'll have to take time. I couldn't.
Take your time.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't have much time, so because but I will try to give you feedback as soon as possible, because like what I told Savannah, they need to do a little more work. They have a lot of great content, but they're missing the beneficiary limitations, reaction from officials, so they have a little bit more work to do. But they've done a great job, but they have focused a little bit too much on the problem. Most of the story should be the solution. And the problem, of course, is important, but it's not 2/3 of your story or even half. It should be no more than, I would say, 1/3 of the story. So, yeah, and you're producing the show also. Yeah, any other questions? Okay, guys, I'll let you go 8 minutes early. How about that?
Yes.